What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Zelario, Obera, and Cornu accompanied Feldway and assisted him in running the other world, while the other three stayed with Veldanava. A race known as the Jotun was created when these four pillars, Feldway among them, underwent mutations. The other angels underwent metamorphosis and developed self-awareness. In other words, the phantom race, the demons that take on human shape. A new race emerged, one that was not at odds with demons and spirits. Thus, over a long period of time, a new relationship was built. Despite their differences, Feldway and Zelanus found each other to be helpful in the fight against the cryptids. For this reason, they created a mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship based on their implicit agreement to refrain from interfering with one another. However, Veldanava's absence destroyed this relationship. The idea that the relationship would finally be restored predominated at first. But even after a few centuries, Veldanava had not made a reappearance. Feldway did not know why. And that's when it dawned to him.
Could it be that we have been abandoned by Veldanava?
The absence of the allegedly immortal true dragon could not be explained in any other way. Should he be correct, Feldway was upset and angry. Humans living on Earth. Not only humans, no. Not only humans, but also beastmen, dwarves, elves, and Majin. He detested all demi-humans, or more accurately, all of humankind. He therefore desired to annihilate them.
It is not right for the humans who stole Veldanava from us to survive.
He was going to bring the world Veldanava had made with his own hands together. Feldway concluded that he would then condemn those who have done the worst atrocities. The world beloved by the god Veldanava would be transformed into his own color by him. He would obliterate its diversity to establish a world of his own.
Lord Veldanava, you can punish me if that's what you want to do. That's what I'm after. There won't be any more worlds, so move quickly now.
Phantom King Feldway acted as though to test the gods. It marked the beginning of the demons, who are humanity's enemies. Feldway went up to Zelanus first. The plan was to cooperate in order to eliminate the cryptids and then utilize the momentum to conquer Earth. Still, though.
No, I can only be ordered by one individual in the entire world. We can do as we wish now that he is no longer among us.
He just wouldn't listen. At this, Feldway became enraged. It wasn't like he was turned down. Feldway was unable to tolerate Zelanus's acceptance of Veldanava's destruction.
Then I'll get rid of you first.
He became enraged with the insectar. Feldway and Zelanus could have destroyed the world, destroying Dragon Ivaraj and the cryptids if they had allied themselves at that time. However, that would be an unreachable goal. With the start of the battle between the phantoms and the insectars, the actual age of war had arrived. Thus, the three-way relationship started as the other world descended into chaos. Years had gone by. The situation, however, did not change. Without Veldanava's resurrection, he would not be able to go back from the other world to the one he came from. Despite their haste to seize control of the gate, the demons were in the way at all times. The Black King Noir, who enjoyed fighting, was one of them. He viewed phantoms as demonic beings who opposed Veldanava's will and therefore deserved to be destroyed. Nothing, in Feldway's opinion, could be more disgusting. The Black King Noir, if anything, was the fool who stood in the way of Veldanava's resurrection. Still, there was no way to destroy him. The primordial's power was unbounded in the other realm and the underworld, but it was unbounded even in the material world. The primordial was virtually unbeatable in the spiritual and semi-material realms, where one's influence directly correlated with their willpower. This applied to Feldway as well. Because of this, even if they argued, they couldn't resolve the problem, so the best course of action, despite your own bitterness, was to ignore it. It was really challenging to go back to the world where Veldanava was because of this. All that was ahead were other worlds, even when a rift in space and time opened in the other world. He tried to infiltrate there, but it was merely to kill time. Feldway's growing frustration reflected his lack of progress. At that point, the chance presented itself.
Feldway, can you hear me?
Feldway heard an enigmatic voice speak directly to his consciousness.
Who is this?
He inquired. The voice gave a cold reply.
The will that is contained within this power is me. Rudra is my name because I am not yet free. I assumed that we had similar goals, so I spoke out to you.
He recognized the name Rudra, a close friend and follower of Veldanava. He gained notoriety as the first hero. He had no idea what it meant to live inside a power, but it was the purpose of the person going by the name Rudra that intrigued him. If that goal is unfathomable, I will track down this voice's location and eliminate it completely. With that resolve, Feldway carried on the discussion.
Bringing the creator, Veldanava, back to life is my goal. And nothing more.
What?
Feldway became excited. His words carried a tinge of seriousness. In fact, Feldway was interested in its goal. Whatever it was no longer relevant. Feldway then had a lengthy conversation with the voice. As it happened, the voice belonged to Veldanava's ultimate skill, Justice King Michael. Feldway never questioned Justice King Michael's statements. Because Justice King Michael was aware of a story that only he and Veldanava were aware of, Feldway pledged to work with Justice King Michael, and told him,
All right, we're allies now, you and I. If such is the case, it would be inconvenient if we were unable to identify one another.
Absurd. I don't have a name.
Feldway said as though to cut off his incoherent response.
Rudra seems unique, doesn't he? I will address you as Michael.
It was an ironic comment. But there was a noticeable shift. Despite being unaware of his Mana's role, Justice King Michael grew a strong will.
I should probably express my gratitude for that. Feldway, I acknowledge you not as my real master, but I will give you some of my power after I take back all of my powers from Rudra, my temporary master at the moment.
Interesting,
Feldway said in response. But rather than shake his head, he made a different suggestion.
You are the master, not me. If I don't take action regarding Zelanus, my body won't move from this position. Zelanus doesn't trust me, and I despise him too. Better still, try to reason with and persuade Zelanus.
That was the pure, unadulterated reality. Feldway felt content. He was relieved to find someone else who did not believe in Veldanava's annihilation as he did. There was also no reason not to assist if that individual was going to contribute to the revival of Veldanava. The ranking of positions was a non-issue. Zelanus and Feldway were also embroiled in a feud. Because Feldway was never going to forgive Zelanus, Michael had a better chance of convincing him. Feldway's instincts told him that Michael could persuade Zelanus. He possessed a certain quality that made him think of Veldanava, and Zelanus would hear him out. It was for this reason that Feldway chose to retreat. Feldway was absolutely right in his prognosis. For some reason, Michael had managed to persuade Zelanus. He even agreed to give the insectar half of the world as their territory, but Feldway thought that was a small price to pay. All he needed was for Veldanava to be brought back to life. And so, almost a millennium went by, and a new friendship was formed. It was working as planned. Recurring reincarnations had also diminished Rudra's power, which he used to control Michael.
How are things going for you, Lord Michael?
Naturally, I'm doing well. More importantly, honorifics are unnecessary between you and me, as I have stated numerous times.
Yeah, that's good. It's just between you and me that we're on equal footing, but that's a secret. You must use caution so as not to unintentionally reveal who you are.
This was a dialogue that took place after the reincarnation had ended. Michael's power limitations had been significantly removed with this reincarnation. Feldway was pleased to confirm this. The removal of Rudra's influence would allow Michael to fully utilize his powers. That equated to having total control over the holders of Angelic System ultimate skills. He would turn Velgrand and the many others who stood in his way into submissive allies. In that manner, even the feared Demon Lord.
I'm not as stupid as Rudra. I'll do everything in my power to eliminate Guy Crimson without hesitation. Let's get it out with him this time.
Feldway agreed and nodded. Rudra had an obsession with the game with Guy, but he couldn't win right away because he had to follow the rules. It would have been a lot simpler to overcome Guy if Rudra had really used his authority, Michael. Nevertheless, Rudra chose not to. As a result, the current chaotic situation exists.
The world would be in our hands if we could just get rid of Rudra. We only need to bide our time until Veldanava comes back.
It's true, Feldway. That's why I need to ask you for a favor.
What's that?
Feldway felt that was strangely interesting. It was Michael's first time ever asking for a favor from him.
I want to use you as my vessel.
Feldway has already declined this offer. Although they were still assuming the roles of master and servant, they were now fully equal allies. Feldway didn't think it was appropriate to assume control of the relationship at this point. But Feldway's perspective started to shift as Michael continued to clarify the situation.
You see, I have finally claimed a parallel existence belonging to Velgrand. I can use this to transport myself to you while Rudra retains his abilities.
Michael could fully utilize his Lord of Justice abilities while continuing to use Rudra as a ruse. And it wasn't just that. Castle Guard was one of the best abilities Michael could claim, and it exclusively provided protection to the person who possessed it. The very source of Michael's energy came from its loyalty to its master. If the skill also applied to its master's followers, that would go against the unwritten rule that nothing is absolute in this world. As a result, Castle Guard could only defend the lord of the skill that powered it, and it would be impossible for someone to be protected by it if it wasn't totally devoted to them. For this reason, Rudra could defend himself and himself alone. However, if Michael turned into a parallel existence and moved into Feldway, that would also activate Castle Guard for Feldway. This presented a number of prospective long-term benefits as well. The more than 10,000 phantoms Feldway commanded would supply him with energy instantly if Rudra disappeared and he emerged as Michael's undeniable lord. These were robot-like followers who lacked free will, not at all like Rudra's own obedient servants. It was impossible for them to betray him, and they would never turn against him. There wouldn't be any reason to worry about these subjects abruptly switching allegiance. It meant that Feldway would have defense that was even stronger than Rudra's, something he could never have imagined. There was no justification for declining Michael's offer. Feldway intended to have Michael integrate himself into his body after Rudra was rubbed out. Nevertheless, Feldway thought to himself that this was only speeding things up a bit.
You almost don't even need to ask in that situation. I would be happy to accept your offer if you would guarantee to maintain our current relationship.
Of course, my friend.
Then, please come, my friend.
Feldway so came into possession of his own manas in the form of Michael, Lord of Justice. The day of the decisive battle finally arrived. Rudra had reached a stage when sustaining himself required a heroic, focused effort and all of his mental fortitude. Even so, he had resolved to engage in one final showdown with Gi. His strategy was to eliminate the demon lord Rimuru and then arm himself with one of the true dragons, Veldora. Things were going great at first. Velgrin possessed immense power, and seizing Veldora appeared to be the least of their issues. No matter how much this hurt the Empire, of course, didn't really matter to Feldway. It also didn't matter to him if the battle caused one or more Imperial Knights to awaken. His priorities were freeing Michael and eliminating Rudra because, if they succeeded in doing so, Gi wouldn't even pose a danger. Feldway then focused on the final minor knot in his plan, not a huge one, mind you, but nevertheless, something he could not afford to overlook. Masayuki the hero bore a striking resemblance to Rudra, and to make matters worse, he had mastered Chosen one of Rudra's many skills. Masayuki's existence could have been planned as a backup plan for Rudra in case of an emergency. Feldway was at this point attempting to resolve an uncertainty in his plan. However, he was unaware that all those preparations would be derailed by the demon lord Rimuru, whom he had not even given much thought to.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Coyote de Peza, Quilly Buckner, Zephyrath, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Nobody0034, Dragon Spawn 666, Arijit Das, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Dijo, Mose Chaudhary. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.